Hello, everyone, and welcome to Campaign 2 here at Spence Art Studios, Red Dirt and Stardust, a science, fantasy, western, and pirate mix campaign. Unlike the last campaign, there won't be very many warnings. Of course, there'll be warnings for fantasy violence and that kind of stuff, but it's a little more tame than the last one. Um, so no other announcements. We will get started with the very first episode where we'll kind of introduce the world as well as each of our characters. So, we begin our story in the world of Ponderosa, a land that is made of various different chunks of rock floating in the sky, having been saved by the creator god, the great god O, after the apocalypse. It's been about 2,000 years, and life has flourished. There are a variety of towns and cities and peoples that live on this barely 2,000-mile across set of land masses. And we're starting on one of them, Gold Rush, a land full of boom towns and mines, precious metals, and gemstones, specifically near a silver mine in a small town called Drake's Ridge, comprising basically of only a main street and a few straggling houses here and there, a church, a blacksmith, and the mayor's house. We are going to begin in the salty spittoon. It's about 10:30 in the morning, so there aren't very many people. People have come and gotten their breakfast because today is the holy day, and most people are going to be going up to the church to be part of the worship service that happens around 11 o'clock. You, however, Lyla, are not. You are standing around in the bar to some degree with Teddy, the bugbear, as he sort of cleans his various steins, getting ready for the after church rush as people come in to get a little tipple of alcohol before going to their typical Sunday afternoon family dinners. What exactly are you doing?
So, Lyla, she definitely got a late start to the morning, as she usually does, not an early riser, being a lady of the evening. Um, so after like pouring herself down the stairs, obviously well put together, dress and all, hair's done, everything. She's probably just lounging languidly at the bar, obviously tits propped up over the talking to Teddy. Oh, Teddy, what's a working girl to do? Uh, no excitement in this poor town of ours.
Well, that's kind of always been the way that it is. The most exciting
Mhm.
thing was when it started. I wasn't
Yeah,
there for that, sadly.
and I came out here searching for adventure, and you know what I got?
Hmm.
A whole lot of rabbit shit.
Hmm.
Eh, just pour me the usual so I can get on with my day.
Of course. So what is the usual for Lyla?
Let's say what alcohols would be available here first?
Probably beers and ales, maybe something like a gin or a vodka. You're not going to get fancy wines out here. You're not going to get super expensive absinthes or ports or things like that. There's probably a cheap whiskey too. But that's
Probably
about it.
some kind of gin and maybe a juice, whatever kind of fruit juice or a tonic maybe thing they got going on.
All right. I would say that maybe it's a little bit early for sparkling stuff, technology wise, or at least out here in Gold Rush.
Sure.
Um, so you get a bit of a, you get like a shot of gin and a chaser of just Teddy's not really used to pouring multiple sort of mixed drinks. He's used to just pouring a single thing. So you kind of just get a shot of apple juice as a chaser.
That'll
And
work.
he puts them on the bar.
Oh, Teddy, you do know how to treat a gal.
Well, I try.
Mm.
And at this point, the doors to the saloon, interestingly, swing open, and in walks a very tall woman in a purple dress, lots of flowing fabric that's kind of sewn and tucked up into these beautiful flowing tiered ribbons. And she has a very wide brimmed hat as she comes in that's low over her head. And she sits down at the bar, a few seats away from you. And Teddy walks over and, well, good morning, ma'am. You're not heading off to the church service? No, not really my scene. All right, well, what can I get you? I'll just take a whiskey. Of course. And he pours her a glass of whiskey and sets it down. And I'm going to go get some more whiskey from the back. And he goes into the back. And she sits there for a moment, sort of sipping.
And who
And
exactly should I suppose you are?
oh, and her voice changes drastically. Well, I thought you'd recognize me. And she sits up a little bit and her hat comes up and you see underneath her eyes, one is bright red, the other is bright gold. You would recognize this as the huckster. The interesting thing about the huckster is that you can always see his eyes. Regardless of what disguise he's in, you can always see his eyes. But you would know that if Teddy walked into the room right now, he wouldn't be able to see them. The eyes would probably be brown to him.
One red and one,
Gold.
One red and one gold. Okay.
Mm.
Excuse me. Oh, Master, I beg your pardon.
Yes, well, I just decided to swing by real quick because I have a little mission for you.
Oh, please do tell me it's something interesting.
Well, maybe, maybe not. You see, this town's going to get a bit of an unexpected delivery quite soon, and I just need you to poke around a little bit.
A delivery.
Yes, that's all I can tell you for right now, but you'll know it when you see it.
Oh, mysterious as always.
Mm-hmm. Just remember to
Yes.
always have that ace up your sleeve.
You know I always do.
And at this point, Teddy actually comes back into the room and starts stocking the whiskey and she.
Oh, how
I
fascinating. Oh, wow. Oh, so you've traveled that far to get here to our little town. That is just, wow. Mm,
Yes, and I still have quite the ways to go. So
mm,
I really have to get going, but thank you so much for that lovely conversation. And out
well,
of a coin purse, she pulls a silver piece and lays it on the bar. That was quite a lovely whiskey. Well, thank you very much. And he takes the silver coin and kind of shines it a little bit and puts it into the cash register as she walks out. And as she does, she pauses and turns, looking at you with the one red and one gold eye before leaving.
Eddie, when you gonna get yourself a lady?
And we shift over to the general store at the edge of town with an attached stable in which we see an orc girl currently leading horses around as there's a customer already asking about horses, perhaps to travel to a nearby town. It's hard to hear because they're out in the stables. But inside the general store itself, Des is restocking her famous hot sauce and chili jams and other things on a big display in the middle of the store. And on the side, there's a little store called Og's Odds and Ends, where there is a little girl standing somewhat impatiently, shifting from side to side as her mother puts a hand on her shoulder to calm down, he'll be done in a moment. And would you like to introduce yourself, Chauncey?
Okay, so hunched over, kind of like a bench in front of a table that serves as his like um checkout or counter area is he's on a stool, but when he's standing up, he's about 5'10", 5'11", a young mid-20s ish man, very pale skin. You can see some of the veins creeping up around different parts, but pretty well built, mostly from the amount of times that he's probably had to spend hammering things based on the accoutrements in his little corner of the shop. There's one wall just has like a stand of daggers and swords and things like that, and another one is just there's like a pegboard full of various sized leather and cloth bags, and he's huddled over this just very delicately with a needle and thread, sewing back together this stuffed animal. It's not a bear though. It's kind of like it's a stuffed. If you're familiar with them, bullet. Is it bullet or bullet?
I say Boulay.
Boulet. It's a stuffed boulet. So like a little stuffed monster that he's very gingerly fixing a seam into and like restuffing as he goes. He's got deep maroon eyes, very bushy but well tamed, black mustache above his top lip, with just scruff going down from his um, sideburns down to his chin, dark hair, like black hair pretty much, mop of curls on top, shaved on the side, one big ass dangly earring on one side that he made. And he's just wearing like a pretty simple vest and shirt over some slacks and boots, something comfortable for a work day. And he's just like while he's working, he very briefly flicks an eye up towards the little girl and just offers her a wry smirk as he pulls the last stitch. And he very kind of like teasingly pulls it back to his mouth where he bites it. And while he bites it, he's actually going to use magic to fix this. He's going to cast a mending spell. So there's just a spark of light as the entire thread glows and mends it so that you can't even see that the stitch was. It looks good as new, pretty much. There's no like wear tear. There's no evidence that she ever ripped it. And he's just going to hand it back, and he's going to be like, "Well, I believe the operation was 100% successful. What do you say, Doctor?"
Yay! And she gives it a big old squeeze. Thank you very much. My daughter was absolutely distraught that she, poor thing ripped. How much do I owe you?
Um, Chauncey's just going to be like, "How you? How she did? She is this like an average family, a rich family, a poor family?"
This seems to be an average family. There aren't very many rich people in Drake's Ridge, so this is just like an average family. Her dad is probably a miner.
Okay.
Um,
He's gonna be like, I mean, if your husband has gotten paid recently, a few copper pieces. If not, do you have any spare eggs? We could always use some eggs here.
oh, it's all right. I have some copper pieces, and she gives you 5 copper pieces.
Thanks. Well, it was a pleasure doing business with you. Um, Now I don't suppose I could interest you in anything else. Is kind of just
Not,
wryly saying it as he leans forward because he knows that they're probably not going to buy anything else.
not today. We are a bit busy. We're gonna get to church like we need to. And she kind of ushers the little girl out as she kind of skips along with her little boulet toy that she's hugging very tightly. And as the family leaves, in walks a very familiar Triton. A lot of sort of muscles on him, a big leather blacksmith's jacket, or apron that he has on, kind of strides in with his hammer in his belt. I don't suppose you have any extra leather, do you?
Delmis, it's nice to see you too.
Likewise.
I and at this point you can kind of just see like there's a slight like click and whir as from like probably standing in a rack of some the small corner of the shop that's his, in a rack of some fabrics and stuff. You just see a figure lean forward, um, porcelain face, but like with moving eyes behind it that are not made of flesh. They look like recessed gems in the back of the recession that are glowing slightly. Just like tilt her head, and Chauncey's just going to be like, can you look, Lovey May, go fetch. I should have some leather upstairs in the workshop, please. And he's gonna send this doll-like figure upstairs to go grab some leather. As he kind of just turns back and goes, so how have you been?
Well, every day's the same round here.
Still working on helmets, I guess. How's the
Yep.
helmet business?
Well, it's going. How's your business? Got any customers yet?
I just here and there, and sometimes I'll get somebody who needs something fixed, or sometimes I'll get um sometimes somebody will buy a knickknack or a piece of jewelry for someone they're sweet on, and sell a decent enough piece of jewelry, and that'll keep my rent paid for a few months. Can't complain.
Mm. He
And
kind of
so,
just oh
oh no, you go.
oh, I was gonna say he kind of just stands there awkwardly in silence, waiting for Lovey May to come back with the leather. And
And
just
then yeah, she'll come downstairs with the leather, and Chauncey will uh, pick it up from her and be like, how much did you need?
and he kind of looks at the piece. And I'll probably take about half of that.
He always has a bag slung over his shoulder, and he reaches down in and just pulls out a giant pair of shears that, with
Hmm.
like almost unnatural precision, he just starts cutting a perfect line through the leather. Um, just sighting it. He doesn't even pull out a measurement or anything, and he's just like half, 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 and yeah, he'll cut it in half and then fold it up and kind of like
Yep.
after folding it a few times, pass it over.
Yep. Delmas takes it and kind of looks at it. Yvonne hasn't mentioned anything about a purple star to you, has she?
I haven't heard anything about a purple star.
Hmm. I was just wondering. It's weird. She asked me to fix her telescope, apply the leather, that sort of thing, to make it all nice. She was talking about trying to find a purple star she'd been seeing recently. Seems a bit strange.
Would I have any idea about a purple star?
I would say no, but you are aware that Yvonne is clairvoyant to a degree and has visions. You are aware that she is a divination wizard. Um, and she has visions. Oftentimes they are incredibly minor. It's how the town keeps running. She's able to foresee bar fights and injuries, small collapses and breakages in infrastructure, and push things through to get them fixed pretty quickly, but that's generally the extent of her vision. Sometimes she can predict the weather. So hearing about her having visions about a purple star is a bit strange.
Yeah, Yvonne, she hasn't come in to the store, at least when I've been here, in a while, so, and Des hasn't mentioned anything to me about her saying anything lately, so I I really don't know what you're talking about, Delm.
Weird. Well, I guess keep an ear out. Thanks for the leather. And he turns and walks out. At this point, we are going to swing over to the church. A kind of large white church with a steeple and a bell that currently Caleb is ringing to attract people to the church. People are coming up the walkway. It is a bit of a climb to get to the church, as it is on a small hill outside of town. And standing out front alongside a human girl with blonde hair that's been pulled up into a ponytail and a lovely white lacy dress, linked arms with, would you like to introduce yourself, Virgil?
Of course. My name is Virgil Buchannon. I'm a human, kind of long-ish, like mullet hair of like a dirty blonde brown, and I'm wearing clerical robes of our great and mighty powerful god O. And I am standing here with arms linked with, could I assume this is my dear Birdie?
Yes, it is Birdie.
And we are standing there, perhaps handing out little pamphlets of what is to be expected of today's sermon.
Mm-hmm.
Good morning. Good morning. Good to see you, Clarence. Good morning. Here you go. Blessings of O be upon all of you.
Of course, they're responding in kind as they're taking the pamphlets. And at this point, you would probably notice that while Birdie is usually shy and reserved and kind of just nods and hands the pamphlets over, she's a little more quiet than usual today for some reason.
Yeah. I guess I'll kind of nudge her and be like, yeah, my dear, I couldn't help but notice you're a little quieter than usual today. Something on your mind?
Not really. I just, when you don't feel well, but you don't feel sick enough to not, you know, get up and do what you need to do that day.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Having a off day?
Yeah. I feel like I'm a bit nervous almost, but I'm not nervous, but like when you're falling and like it almost feels like you can feel it like in your stomach, you know?
Like when you're sleeping and you feel like you fell, that sort of thing?
More like when you're actively falling, like between when you fall off the ledge and when you hit the ground.
All right, I'm following. Where's this going?
I have no idea. I just feel that. And I don't know. I feel like I should. I don't know.
Morning. Good morning.
Yeah. And the crowd of people passes by as you're
Yeah.
handing out these pamphlets quickly, having a break in the conversation before finally everyone kind of moves on, and there's a while before the next group comes. I don't know. I don't know. It's just a little weird feeling.
Hmm. Well, Birdie, you're a mighty intuitive gal. I say follow that feeling. See where it takes you.
I guess. Well, maybe after service you could walk me over to Oggs. I saw another lacy white dress that I was thinking of purchasing.
At the mention of Oggs, I do kind of like jolt up a little bit, like, right, yeah. I'd be more than happy to. I'll have to make sure your father doesn't have any work for me today after the sermon, but if that's the case, I'd of course be more than happy.
All right. And at this point, as you all are handing out the pamphlets and people continue to come in, we're going to shift on over a little farther away from the town, and down the hill is a lake shining in the somewhat morning day sun, lined with a few trees here and there. Is Lover's Lake, a popular destination for people to go down to for anything from picnics to probably things you shouldn't be doing in a lake. But alongside the shores of the lake is a relatively modest tent that is, at the moment, somewhat surrounded by squirrels and rabbits and jackalopes and birds of various varieties, as in the lake is... Would you like to introduce yourself, Velantrios?
Yes. So, in the lake, there is a tiefling. His name is Velantrios, or Velantrios. But he's not like other tieflings in regards to appearance. While many tieflings have like dark red hair, or dark red skin, and like pitch black eyes and things of that nature, he is very pale in complexion. His skin is like rosy white. He's also got snowy white long locks of like curly wavy long locks, and these eyes that are like an ultraviolet magenta with these white feline pupils, and his overall appearance is very lithe, and he is currently wading. I'm not sure what the technical term for walking through water is. Wading through the water of the lake and bathing, and he is like up to his above his chest in the water, and he's got his head resting back with his locks soaking in the water, and he's just trying to enjoy his time. He's trying to just stay calm and at peace.
And as you do that, looking up at the lovely clouds in the sky, there's almost a sense you get that the animals are starting to get nervous. You know that the animals sense things long before people do. You've lived in this area for quite a while. At this point, the rabbits all begin to hop away, along with the jackalopes. The squirrels dash off into their trees. The birds begin to fly up into the air. And for quite a few moments, you're left standing in the lake in silence before you hear a rumble like thunder that is unending. And all of you hear this. And people begin to look up to the sky. And then there's shouts, yells, screams. People begin running. And you all see, coming from the sky, at first it looks like a purple star falling from the sky, trailing deep black smoke, surrounded and wreathed in purple flames. But as it gets closer and closer and closer, you realize it's not a star, it's a ship. Like the ships that sail the astral sea, three-masted, falling from the sky. It slams into the top of the mountain that is the mine, exploding in a purple ball of flames, sending wood and splinters everywhere. This is a distance away from town. Virgil, you're probably the closest, and you probably see this the most clearly, but everyone sees this happen. You hear the rumble of rocks falling down the mountain. You hear the clatter of these huge pieces of the ship landing somewhere on the other side of the mountain. People are panicked. So, what are each of you doing? I will let you jump in any order.
So Velantrios sees all that happen, and he quickly makes his way out of the lake and quickly puts on his linen sleeveless shirt and pants and the burlap cloak that he has to keep the sun away from his fair complexion. And he quickly starts to make his way towards the mountain with where all the flames are.
All right.
Oh my lands, tell you what is that?
I have no idea. He says, like, trying to push some of the bottles back in because this shook the earth. There's probably about maybe 200, 300 gold worth of alcohol that's now been spilled on the floor from the bottles sliding off the shelf. And he's desperately trying to pick up and find the bottles that are salvageable and put them back on the shelf so that he can start cleaning up.
So Lyla, like, while startled though she is, probably like peeks out the window. She's definitely curious. He's trying to put all the bottles back up and she peeks out the door. Decides she's gonna run for it and check it out, but real quick scoots back and snags the bottle of gin before she's
There is a bottle that conveniently is rolling towards you on the floor that you just whoosh, pick up and you start booking it.
hikes up her dress and
All right.
So I feel like after the awkward, maybe Des came in after like the exchange with Delmas, or for some reason, and Chauncey's just like kind of looking a little more defeated than usual, as he's just mindlessly, before obviously this happens, and he's just gonna be like, Des, can you watch the shop for me? I need to go. I need to. And in the back of that, he's like, "Fuck! I didn't charge him anything for that leather either. Damn it." Des, can you please watch my stall, please?
Well, certainly I ain't going outside. Not with that.
And like while he's talking with her, he's just pulling out of his bag, like very gingerly, but with perfect ease, an oversized roll of scale mail that somehow fits in his bag. It doesn't look like it should be able to fit in his bag. And he's just undoing the ribbons, keeping it rolled up. It takes 5 minutes to don medium armor, so he's going to take 5 minutes to quickly slip into something a little more comfortable. Grab a small shield off the like rack from behind him, or well, that was behind his stool, and he's gonna run, and because there's a chance somebody's hurt and somebody needs help, and this is something. So yeah, he's gonna be like, "Lovey May, come on!" And him and the doll just start running towards the mountaintop after he swaps into his armor.
Mm-hmm. And Virgil, what you doing?
Virgil, no one is hurt right now, right? Everyone's just panicking and running.
Everybody is panicking and running, but I will
Okay.
say you basically got a front row seat to this thing hitting the top of the mountain. The church is the closest thing to the mine. There's still a good distance to the mountain, but it's the closest structure to the mine. So you got a front row seat to this thing
Gotcha.
hitting the top of the mountain.
I'm gonna just like grab Birdie's shoulders, like, Birdie, I need you to go get all the lab domain clerics down there and meet me in the mountain. All right, I'm gonna run up there right now.
Okay. And she runs on into the building, like basically she kind of sort of makes it in, but she is kind of stuck pushing against the crowd that's
Yeah.
constantly flowing out. She doesn't make it in for a good 45 seconds, even though she's like right there at the door. But she eventually manages to make it in.
Cool. And I'm just gonna run towards the crash.
All right. So as you all are running, takes a couple of minutes, but you all eventually end up meeting up with each other, walking across where this mountain, around the edge of the mountain, where there is somewhat of a road that goes around to the back of the mountain. And you all...
Oh, Preacher Buchanan, you're here.
Of course, Madam Lyla. Seems we're the first ones to arrive. We should make sure all the miners and perhaps even those on the ship are okay.
Oh my God.
Velantrios just gives...
heart?
Sorry.
Okay.
Velantrios just gives the pastor the side eye.
Sorry, you go.
No, please continue.
I'm just gonna. Chauncey just runs past them. You just see, and his scale mail is the pattern of the scales are just little heart shapes. Chauncey, and there's a fucking her overly done Victorian style dress pulled up in one mechanical hand and an umbrella in the other. Is fucking Lovey May running next to the shade under
Mr. Og. I'm just gonna start coming after you.
We don't have time to talk. There could be injured people.
Oh my goodness. I guess I'm gonna book it too.
Yeah.
Hikes up the dress.
Make a lady run in heels.
I made those heels. I know that they can hold up.
May the great O guide you. I'm gonna touch you and give you guidance, Lyla.
How close are we to the crash site?
It's probably going to be maybe 5 more minutes if you all keep up the pace of running. However, what are your all passive perceptions? So that's going to be 10 plus perception. So either just wisdom, or if you have proficiency, it would be wisdom and proficiency.
12.
Oof.
So perception.
I missed my high perception score on Percy.
Passive.
He noticed so many things.
So it's 10 plus passive perception?
Just if
no,
you
be 10
have a
plus.
number for passive, it'll just be passive.
Yeah.
Just
okay.
passive. All right, so my passive is 15.
Yeah, there you
Okay.
go. That'll do.
My passive perception is 8.
Oh,
Do you have a negative
no.
wisdom score?
Chauncey has a negative wisdom score.
Oh no.
Wait, just so that I'm making
God.
sure that I'm not
That
screwing
That
myself
fits.
over.
That's a fitting score for Chauncey.
Right?
No, is there anything added to the passive perception, or is it just the passive perception?
No, it's just the
That's it.
passive perception. I'm
Okay.
trying to use passive scores a little bit more in this game, so yeah.
That one is actually already all the things added. for
Yeah.
you. It's just
Yeah.
on beyond.
But
It
if you
shows
needed to-
that,
Yeah. So if I wanted to make you make other passive checks, that would be what it would be. It would be like if you wanted if you were rummaging through something and I was like, oh, you're just rummaging through it to rummage through it or to look like you're rummaging through it, I might have you tell me what your passive investigation is. Or if you're just strumming an instrument, I might have you make a passive performance. That's just 10 plus the score associated with it. And if you have proficiency, that. So just add the skill to 10 and that's the passive. I might be asking you all for passive variety of things throughout this just because I want to use that a little bit more. I think it's underutilized. But anyway, so Velantrios, your passive perception seems to be the highest. And so you notice as you all are running, you all aren't bothering to stealth. You all are running. You can hear your footsteps echoing off. You might even hear the whirring and clanking of Lovey May's gears
the
as she
clip-clop
runs.
of Lila's heels.
Bouncing off of the rock. You notice about 60 feet up the mountain, pacing back and forth, clearly agitated by the crash, are 2 mountain lions.
Oh.
You would also notice that these mountain lions are interesting. Since the destruction of the world, the druidic powers and magics had to go somewhere, and so the animals here are sometimes a little different. Some of them are bigger. You are aware of buffalo in Amarillo that sprout tiny little vestigial wings. These ones, they have glowing golden eyes and seem to have ore growing out of the shoulders. They're also a little bit more red than other ones are. You would be aware that these mountain lions have the power to cause avalanches. They are magic mountain lions, and they
Oh.
seem to notice you.
Me specifically, or all of
The
them?
group, as you all are very loudly charging down the mountain path to get to this, they notice you.
I definitely like stop and like, it's Velantrios, right? You're the mystic down by the lake. Isn't this your whole bag?
My whole bag?
Yeah.
Animals and whatnot.
Uh,
Rocks and
Okay,
such,
let me-
you know, nature.
Exactly.
yes, I suppose you could say that.
Could you shoo
No.
them away?
Nature things.
These these are not your average mountain lions. They are freaking out of control with magic at the moment.
Oh,
And at
that's
that
what
point,
we
as
supposed
you
to
say
talk
that,
about it.
as you say that, one of them roars, and you actually see the air around their mouth ripples outward and has a slight iridescent shimmer to it, almost like the wave in the air is bending the light, causing faint rainbows, and rocks begin to slide. And I need everybody to make a dexterity saving throw for me, please, as
Okay.
rocks tumble down right onto you all.
Dexterity saving throw.
Mm-hmm.
Is that wait? Can I guidance that? Is that a thing?
I don't think so.
It's just no. It's just ability checks.
It's just
It's
ability
just ability
checks, yeah.
checks.
Ability checks. Okay.
Sorry, I need to
Um.
go away for 1 second. I'm
Ooh,
so sorry.
I got an 8.
Ooh, I also got an 8.
Oh, no.
I'm just gonna look at. I need to look at what Levy Maze is. As part of like the running up to, can I do 2 prep spells before we get there? Just
Sure.
the free. He's got False Life and Gift of Alacrity on,
Yeah.
because he can cast them once a day for free.
Fair enough.
I
Yeah.
also want to retcon store a mind sliver in a card.
Oh.
Gotcha. All right. So you have that definitely tucked into your sleeve. And Velantrios, what did you get for your dexterity saving throw?
I got 10.
So we have 10, 8, 8.
So
What does Chauncey get?
Chauncey got an 8, and then Levy May got a nat 20.
Okay, so Lovey May is going to take half damage. Everybody else is taking full damage as these rocks slam into you all.
Oh, can't run in these heels.
Oh, it's not very much. It's only 9 points of bludgeoning damage as these rocks just bludgeon into you. And at this point, I would like everybody to roll initiative as the 2 mountain lions come charging down the mountain at you all.
They're
So
doing 10 hit points, but oh well.
so we got 9 points of damage.
Yep, you all took 9 points of damage. And
And
these
then-
are not rolling well.
And then what are we rolling for again?
Initiative. So roll and then add your initiative. So,
Investigation.
oh my, these things are
Oh,
not rolling very well.
12.
Well, for Velantrios,
And Lyla has a 15.
Lyla has a 15.
Virgil got an 18.
Virgil got an 18.
10.
10 for Chauncey. Well, you all are going before these mountain lions. So first up is going to be Virgil.
Cool. I'm just gonna do a quick little guiding bolt.
All right.
So it's +7 to hit. Ooh, I got a nat 20.
Nice.
Ooh.
27 to hit.
So
Yeah.
we are still doing the strong crit rules, which means it is full damage plus the rolled dice.
Hell yeah. So full damage is that can't be right. I need I think my
Well,
D&D
first level
Beyond might be
guiding-
wrong. How much is first level
Probably.
guiding bolt damage? Do you know off the top of your head?
4d6.
4D. Oh, for some reason it says
4d6.
8d6. Oh, it's because I got a crit. It's because I got a crit. Okay, it's calculating it for me already.
Right.
But we don't
Um,
calculate by those rules. So it's
Well,
4d6.
D&D Beyond, you're just screwing me over now.
So that's 24 points of damage plus roll
I'm just
4d6.
gonna-
That is kind of cool that it does that, though.
It does. It just knew, yeah.
Mm.
But it still says, oh, come on. It still says 8d6. I'm just gonna reload and see if it goes back down to 4d6.
Just roll the d6s.
I don't want. I'm using D&D Beyond now. I've never used it before. Okay, now it did the right thing. Okay, so 11 plus 4d6, 24.
Yeah, there you go.
So
that'd be 35.
5, yeah.
You blast this thing with, is it golden light? What does your guiding bolt look like?
It is definitely like a little bit fiery looking. But yeah, I conjure this glowing mass of fiery light in my hand, just launch it towards it, and just sails and. Is it dead or is it still up?
It is very badly injured, but
Cool.
it is in fact still up.
And now it's like it's kind of wreathed in these little flickering flames it's gonna give whatever attacks it next advantage.
Yep.
And for my bonus action, I kind of like clasp my hands together, and you hear me muttering some prayers, like, "May the great O will guide my dear friend Lyla to a greater prospects." And I'm going to heal you.
Chill. Okay.
So you can take.
Oh, right.
Doesn't let me roll this for some reason. I have to roll it manually.
I momentarily forgot what you were playing. That they had that ability.
You can regain 8 hit points.
8 it is. Boom.
Which is basically all the
As
damage you took.
Some holy light shines in a beam on top of you and heals you.
All right.
My hero.
So Lyla, it is your turn.
Okay, so give me uno segundo.
So it is Velantrios next, and Chauncey after that, and then whatever these mountain lions that are surviving, whatever the next attacks are.
Okay, well, let's see. I don't even know. Let's. What the hell did I say I was going to store in the card?
Mind Sliver?
Is that what I said I was going to do? Yeah,
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, that's right. Sorry, I'm just going through my spells. I got them.
New characters, everyone. New characters.
Yeah. Let's do I do have a bonus action thing. You know what? No, we're just gonna go for a sleep, actually. So Lila's gonna do like a little lullaby thing and like, so poor little kitty. Pussycat.
Warm kitty, soft kitty.
Yeah. Okay, so that is roll 5d8, and then that's the hit points.
I think they also have to make a saving throw, don't they?
Or
No, I
is
think
it
it's just
literally
the hit
just cancel the
points.
hit points? Okay.
Yeah, straight up. Okay, so I have a total of 24 to use. So let's apply that to the wounded one first, obviously.
Yes, I think it does go for the lowest hit points first.
Yep, ascending order. So whatever is greater than the total of the hit points it has goes to sleep. And when it fails, the spell, stops.
Yeah. So one of them, the one that was just blasted by Virgil, collapses, falling asleep, still wreathed in this radiant energy. The other one keeps on moving. It has not been put to sleep.
Fabulous. Well, then we will use the Mind Sliver card bonus action on the one that's still up. And that, so you'll just see her probably like reach up her dress and like flourish out a little playing card. She'll kiss it real quick and it glows pink and she throws it. So it's an intelligence save.
These things are not very intelligent, and so it got a -2 on the
Yes.
saving throw.
Cool.
So it's going to take full damage.
All right, excellent.
Roll
So
the damage of that Mind Sliver.
Yep. That's 3 psychic damage, and then it's also gonna take -D4 from the next save before end my turn.
That was 3 points, you said, of psychic damage?
Yes.
All right. It is still up, and it is still relatively unharmed. So, Velantrios, it is your turn. What you
Sorry.
doing as these things are charging?
I will be back in a second. Sorry, my mom and my sister are driving me insane.
All right.
Okay.
Chauncey.
Velantrios, do something.
Yeah, he's just standing there.
These things continue bounding down the mountain
I
towards
can
you.
think we're like in video game like idle animations.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Fucking. Oh god, some Final Fantasy shit. Like,
Okay.
All right.
He was browsing his inventory.
So, they both attacked us, right? They both caused damage.
One of them did. The other one is simply following suit, and both of them were charging down the mountain until one of them was put to sleep by Lyla after getting blasted by Virgil. The other one is relatively unharmed, but is still running towards you.
And
Is the one asleep the one who damaged us?
Yes.
Okay. In that case, I will cast Hellish Rebuke on it.
That is a reaction.
Oh,
right, yeah.
So you
would
would
do
have
that,
needed
like,
to do that when
immediately
you took the
after.
damage from the rocks.
Right.
okay.
Anything next to it that says 1R, you can pop off like when something happens. It's
Mhm.
like a triggered sort of a thing.
Oh, I see.
And you get
Yeah.
one of those per round. You
Mhm.
regain it after your turn.
All right. In that case, I'll cast Entangle on the one who's charging.
That'll do.
All right. So then what saving throw is that?
It is hit DC, which is strength 15.
12.
Minus
got a
a D4 from
15.
Lyla.
Oh, yeah,
and then
minus a
the
D4.
Yep.
Oh, so it only got a 13, so it fails and is
Nice.
entangled as these. What does your entangle look like?
So I like shoot out my hand, and all of these like thorn vines sprout from the ground and wrap around this mountain lion with rope, and then like as it causes the damage as the thorns dig into the mountain lion, it starts to sprout roses the color of blood.
Ooh,
Yummy.
interesting. So
There you
now
go, tree boy.
it is. So do you have anything else you want to do with your turn, or are we passing it on to Chauncey?
So I'm really not sure, like, what would count as a bonus action? Like, how do I do that?
It would say if it's a bonus action or not.
Anything in your actions or spells, if under actions, you have to go over to bonus action. Under spells, it'll have a 1BA next to it.
Mm-hmm.
Use any of those as your bonus action. You can also move, or you can just end your turn. And then
however, since you cast a spell as your action, you can only cast cantrips as your bonus action if the cantrip has a bonus action, or you can make it a bonus action, which I think only sorcerers can really do.
Okay.
Um,
Well, you could just.
I think
Is
there's
anyone
some-
else like is anyone else damaged? Is anyone else below the health bar?
I mean,
I think everybody is.
Yeah,
Because
everyone's a
y'all
little
got hit
damaged.
with rocks.
except
Um,
Lyla. Preacher man healed Lyla.
Oh, right.
Okay. And Lyla is Kyle.
Nope, that's
That's
Lyla
you.
is Yofi.
Okay, so I go to
the hooker.
so I look at Chauncey, and as a bonus action I'd like to cast Balm of the Summer Court. Might as well test the waters on that. So as a bonus action, by spinning dice from the pool, you I can restore HP to one creature. Creature also gains one temporary hit point per die spent.
Nice.
So basically, I just like take out one of my dice.
Yeah, it
Um,
should.
You
It
have a
should say in
number
the
of
ability.
yeah. You'll have a number of
Say how many.
d6s equal to your druid level. So since we're level 4, you can spend up to 4 d6s, but those you have to last until your next long rest. So you
Mhm.
might want to spend 1, and I'll get 1 temporary hit point after 2.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
Chauncey.
then you'll have 3 left.
Yeah,
Okay.
Chauncey's only slightly injured, so you probably don't. If you're gonna heal him, you don't need to use that much because he had temporary hit points going into the fight.
All right.
Anything like my bardic.
You know what? Instead, I'm
it'll
sorry.
have, like boxes you can.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah.
instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cast Misty Step. And
You cast Entangle, so you would not be able to do that. You cannot cast 2 level spells. One has to be a cantrip.
oh,
Yeah.
never mind then.
It's
I guess
something we all forget about and run into a lot, so don't
Balm
worry
of the
about it.
Summer Court gets around it because it's a class
Yeah.
ability and not a spell.
Yes.
Yeah, spells you
So
can
you
only
can
do
Balm of the
once.
Summer Court, but you can't Misty Step.
Right.
All right. I'm good then.
All right, so Chauncey, it is now your turn. There is a sleeping mountain lion, and there is a mountain lion that is very clearly still wanting to get at you all, but is tied up with these vines covered in blood red roses.
How far away are these mountain lions from where we are?
About 60 feet. They were just starting to come down the mountain when you all launched your assault on them.
Okay. All right. Well, one of them's asleep, and they're about 60 feet away.
The asleep one
Chauncey-
is glittering with Virgil's guiding bolt.
Well, yeah. Restrained gives attack rolls advantage too.
Very true.
So Chauncey's just gonna be like, he's gonna start moving up the mountain with Lovey May. Fun fact, they both have above 30 movement speed because that's a thing Dhampir and Steel Defenders get. So they're really fast compared to, or not really fast, but they're faster than most folk. But they're gonna each use their movements. They're gonna each move 35 feet up, and then Chauncey's just gonna like look one, look at the other, and he's gonna just he's got his shield raised a little bit, but with his free hand, he just reaches and rifles in his bag a minute. And he's just gonna pull out a gun and shoot the restrained one. He can't get there. So he just pulls out this revolver that is I mean, I don't know if anybody else can see it, but it's giving a certain franchise gunslinging witch vibe. It's very fancy. There's charms hanging off of it. And he's just gonna shoot the restrained one.
Directly in the face.
Fish in a barrel, huh?
With advantage, I got a nat 20.
Ooh, awesome.
Oh god. Okay, so it's gonna take base 16 damage because it's 2d8 for a revolver shot. And then it's also gonna take another 8 plus 6 damage, so 14 plus 16 is 30 damage.
Good lord. Yeah, you blast this thing. It roars in pain.
Fill
As
him
it's-
full of holes.
As it's
I would just the more blood that's spilled, the more roses sprout.
oh, yep.
Oh, love it.
Yep. So it is now the asleep one's turn. I don't think it can do anything. Does it make a
I think it
saving
can
throw to wake
roll
up?
to wake up.
That's what I was
I
wondering.
think you can snore.
But that would be like an end of the turn thing.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, hang on. Let me just look at the sleep condition in here because you can do it. Let me just see where it is.
I think it would say in the spell. I think it actually does stay asleep unless something uses its action to wake it up.
Yeah, it doesn't say anything about like a saving throw or anything. Give me 1 sec.
Someone has to take their action to wake it up, or someone has to damage it for it to wake up. Or the spell has to end, so you have to stop concentrating on it for them to wake up.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
then that one's turn is ended.
And wait, it's not even a
And-
concentration spell. It just lasts for a minute. Gross.
Oh.
Yep.
Damn.
Yep.
I thought it was concentration. Damn.
Mm-mm.
It's much more harsh than I thought it was. So the other one is, I believe, if you look at Entangle, I think it can use its action to make a strength check against
I
the
believe
Entangle
so.
spell to escape it, but it
sounds
takes its action, so it wouldn't be able to do anything once it
correct.
got out.
Yes.
Okay. It's going to make a strength saving throw to get out of your Entangle. And
So Velantrios, we need your save DC.
nope, it only rolled a 9, so it just ate shit.
Oh.
It wriggles around trying to it gets nothing. The vines are too wrapped up around it, and that is going to be the end of its turn because it can go nowhere and it has no bonus actions.
Fabulous.
I love Entangle.
Yep.
So one's wrapped up and one's asleep. High five, guys.
High five.
Yeah.
So do we want to go back up to the top, or do you all just want to run? Because that is an option. I think I need to emphasize you all can run from combat a lot more than I did in the last campaign. So these two are tied up for a while.
Do we
I
believe
say
that
we like
we're gonna do this again? Like,
This is like a path, right, to the mines. This is where humans walk a lot.
It's around the side of the mountain.
I say we just carefully maneuver around the mountain line to go further up towards the crash site.
I mean,
All right, you're the nature man. We'll follow your lead on this one.
Oh,
if
that
they
was just me
attacked us,
talking.
what's going to stop them from attacking somebody else?
well,
Fair point.
If no one else is going to, can Chauncey just shoot them?
you know what? Do
Oh,
it.
Sure.
Go for
Two
it,
shots,
Chance.
bam, bam, right between the
Yeah.
eyes. Both of them go down.
It is notable that Chauncey's gun is magical, which you guys notice because it sparks and flashes with sparkling color whenever he shoots it. Pearlescent,
Of course it does.
yeah,
Of course.
pearlescent little pops of almost like what looks like something approximating what glitter could exist like in this universe. As he just casually shoots two wounded, restrained mountain lions through the head.
Snap, crackle, pop.
And yep, the entangle spell and the sleep spell end as they no longer have a living creature to attach onto. The vines recede back into the ground, and Lyla, you feel the sleep spell end.
We're totally coming back for the crystals on their backs.
The ore growing out of their shoulders.
Yeah.
Ooh, how fun.
I'm sorry, I didn't notice them, and I was just Chauncey's just walking back down because he had gone up to start, and he's just like casually putting his gun away in his bag. He's like, "I'm sorry, I should have been paying better attention. I'm worried. We should probably get moving, right?"
Lyla just
Well put.
adjusting with her skirts, perhaps with a bit more caution.
I mean, you did wonderfully, though, Miss Lyla.
Not that a lady should have to concern herself with such things. Well, onward.
Why don't we get a move on?
Yep. So you continue on to this crash site,
Around,
which
us out of
this crash site is enormous because, of course, the boat hit the top of the mountain. You see that the stern is resting at the base of the mountain. It is the only part of the ship that is intact at all. The rest of the ship has been blown to bits over about a 250-foot radius area. It is boxes, it is boards, it is metal bits, rigging, rope, all kinds of things, some of which is still on fire. You see this little purple flames everywhere in this area. There does not seem to be any survivors, at least from where you can see as you begin to approach the crash.
Perception check.
All right, make me a perception check.
And I'll use up that guidance. No, I won't actually.
It
we
only
all do
lasts
it?
a minute.
Yeah, and it's not gonna do anything for me anyway.
Oh, wait.
I'm ashamed of that.
I
I
guess I
guess.
should.
6.
Lovey May has good perception. My robot's better at perceiving things than I am.
Oh my goodness.
Well, yeah, by all means.
Oh, she got she got before her modifier. She got a 2. I don't think she gets a
Okay.
6. That's not going to do much.
Virgil gets a 15.
Sorry, I stink at this. So what modifier do we add to perception, or is it just the passive?
So, if you look on your character sheet, you'll have a section that has a bunch of like skill words, animal
Yep,
handling,
it's just
athletics,
skills.
perception, nature.
Mhm.
In there, there's a box right next to perception. That's your number. Roll a d20. Boom.
Add that number.
Skills, deception, perception. Here we go.
There you go.
Yep. So just roll a d20 and add that number.
20. I mean,
Oh,
it's
nice.
15 plus 5, so 20.
Yep.
Oh,
There you
wow.
go.
All right.
Oh, that's cool. I can see all y'all's
Yep.
things.
Oh, I didn't finish my sheet on D&D Beyond because
Oh,
I'm
no
lazy.
worries.
She did it on my own.
It's all good. It's
So
just me.
you all wander through the wreckage of this place. And amongst these boards, despite the fact that most of you rolled very low, there were some that rolled high enough that you spot a couple of things. The first, impaled on what appears to be a section of iron bars, is a Yuan Ti. Scraggly hair on top of his head, rattlesnake modeling all over him. He is actually in manacles, but he's impaled on what appears to be a section of prison cell bars that are just laying on the ground. This is the only corpse that you can see at the moment. There might be more.
Oh.
As you travel, again looking, there is also a box that has spilled open, and there are hundreds of thousands of tiny little parts, gears, pins, screws, little tiny bird wings, little tiny bird heads, little tiny bird feet. It appears that this is a box of robot parts, or automata parts as they would be called in this universe, to make tiny little robotic birds. You also notice that there are tiny little bells amongst this as well. Chauncey, if you would like to make, what should be? I think a history check.
Okay. I'm going to cast guidance on myself while I do this history.
Okay.
I can do that too.
I'm not the only guidance boy anymore.
Surprise.
Ooh. Chauncey's not the most perceptive, but when it comes to being a geek, history gets +7, so how is a 27?
Oh yeah, that's enough.
Holy.
You would actually recognize from each of these little pieces rolling that high, you recognize these are little tiny sentry birds. You remember making them during your internship, and actually you recognize this design. It is actually Corrigan's design. And there's just a box full of these little sentry birds that will fly around a small area that you designate and will chirp or ring or make a very loud noise if someone that does not either speak the password aloud or is authorized enters the location that the bird is watching. It can't attack, it can't, that sort of thing. But it can make loud noises and it can attract other people. But it seems all of these are kind of scattered from a box, and none of them are put together.
Yeah, Chauncey's just gonna be like, I used to have to make these during my apprenticeship. Oh God, for days at a time.
What are they?
They're called sentry birds. They're little automata that they're kind of like guard dogs, but they don't need to sleep or eat, and they're not very noticeable if you put them in the trees or on the roofs of buildings if people don't pay attention. They're a security system, kinda. He's just like starting to shovel them into his bag too, like the park.
In the
Velantrios,
name of goodness, it's you doing.
I mean, we can't let good parts go to waste.
Oh my life.
Velantrios just comes up behind Chauncey and wraps his arms around his Chauncey's neck and looks at the little birds on over his shoulder, and he's like, my little friends would definitely notice all of these hanging around.
Oh,
So wait, okay, is he doing it threateningly or non-threateningly? The arms around the shoulder thing.
Non-threateningly.
Okay.
He's just like a hug?
Sort of. He's like looking at all the
It's being overly friendly.
yeah. He's just looking at all the parts that Chauncey's putting into his bag or whatever. You for all I know, you could take it as a threat, but Velantrios doesn't mean it as a threat. He just means it as an observation.
Okay, it's just how, depending on like his body language is going to depend on what Lovey does. But yeah, she's probably just she's not gonna do anything too crazy at that point. And Chauncey's just like, yeah, this. Well, I mean, the point isn't to trick birds. It's like he's trying to explain the point's not to trick birds. It's just
the point is, how did this ship end up crashing out of the
I'm
mountain?
gonna look around. I'm gonna like look for survivors, maybe. And if I need,
So
I can use mold earth also
What
to
was
like
it that you
clear things
rolled for your
away.
perception?
I got a 15.
Okay. Okay. So I'm going to say, as you're walking around, you actually notice something else.
My word.
Made of what appears to be iron, most likely, are 4 statues of German shepherds. They look like they're standing, just legs perfectly in line with each other, just like almost as if they're standing, their heads upright, their ears perked up. But they're kind of topsy-turvy and all over the place. One is upside down. Its ears have actually dug into the soil, so it's just sitting at a weird angle with its legs up in the air. And they're just scattered a little bit. They look like just solid statues of 4 German shepherds made out of iron, just on the ground.
Oh boy.
Interesting.
Who said they were browsing around most?
It was I'm forgetting his name.
Virgil? Was it Virgil or Chauncey?
Me? Which one of us were talking about?
Virgil?
Oh, I heard Virgil saying that he was gonna wander around.
Okay, well, Lila's gonna follow behind the preacher man, just humming herself a little Sunday hymn. Gonna give him a bardic inspiration.
Oh, wonderful.
Let's see. I really should have gotten
I don't notice anything besides the dogs. No people? I'm looking for people.
Nope, there doesn't seem to be any. Weirdly, there doesn't seem to be any people
So it was
on the
just that
ship.
Yuan-Ti.
It was
Yeah.
just the Yuan T that
Can I
seems to
go?
be
And I'm doing like a thorough, like I'm clearing
just.
debris away with mold earth and like
Yeah, this is just
he's
of the
officially the
wreckage
only
of
person here.
separate from the stern. Yes, separate from the stern, which you haven't investigated yet. This is just the wreckage of everything that was just blasted as this boat hit the top of the mountain. The stern is still intact. You all haven't checked that yet.
Let's go check it.
I mean, he looks. Chauncey
He looks
just looks
pretty
over.
dead.
He looks. He looks. That is shockingly blunt of you, Father.
I do a little prayer. Got him to the next life, Mario.
Well, I do suppose we should find out what it is doing here.
What's in that stern?
We'll saunter up, we'll prepare
Yeah.
on.
All right.
Velantrios just pushes himself off of Chauncey and starts following after the preacher boy and the lovely lady.
Maybe. I mean, in case they're disoriented, Chauncey's just gonna like push his way in front of everybody because he has a shield held up. He's gonna be like,
Oh yeah.
All right.
in case anyone, I don't want to see you get hurt if we can avoid it.
Oh, Chauncey, you are so sweet. Thank you. She's gonna pet his neck a little bit and she'll cast heroism.
Ooh.
Oh.
Ooh. All right. So you all make your way into the stern, which appears to have weirdly a hole blasted out of the back. So the ship hit the mountain bow first, but there's a hole in the stern that doesn't look like it was caused by the mountain, and this is in the cargo hold. You all make your way up the stairs into the now wide open captain's quarters, which of course has been completely trashed. The desk is sideways up against the wall, feet out. Papers are everywhere. The window, the glass is blasted out of the back. You do see there are two items of note. There are actually two large iron boxes that have been thrown against the wall, and laying on the floor, also having been thrown, is a very large two-handed hammer that, Chauncey, you would recognize. This is Corrigan's hammer that she would use in the forge, but it seems to not be in her possession anymore. It is laying on the floor. It is a brass two-handed maul that is just sitting there on the floor.
He kind of just freezes up because it was one thing seeing the mechanical birds, it's another thing seeing her hammer. So he's just gonna be like the hair on the back of his neck standing up. His reactions kind of inform Lovey May's reactions, and she just gives out almost like a mechanical hiss as literal steam starts coming out of some of the lace work in her outfit as she just shifts her footing ever so slightly into battle mode because she senses his discomfort, and he's gonna be like, "This isn't good. This is not." He's gonna walk over and pick up the hammer.
Mm-hmm.
A big hammer? That's what we're worried about?
Are you
does the name Corrigan Cannonball Blake mean anything to you?
my word?
Would it? Do I need to make a history check?
I mean,
or
if you would all
something?
like to make if you all would like to make a history check, if you think you would know anything, you can make a history check. You don't have to if you don't want to.
Oh, 18.
Damn. Mine, where did my fucking D4 go?
Oh, casting guidance.
Yeah.
Mine is 16.
Oh, cool. Mine's a
Oh, you have a bardic inspiration. You can say
15. I'll save. I'll hold on to the bardic for now.
Oh yeah.
All right. So actually, all of you would be aware somewhat of Corrigan Cannonball Blake.
Huh.
She is a renowned weaponsmith. That a couple of years ago went missing when her lab caught on fire.
Oh boy.
Or at least that seems to be the story that's going around. There's rumors of other things happening, but the story that people seem to know the most is that her lab caught on fire. There was an accident involving a weapons test, and her lab caught on fire, and she has been missing for a little bit.
Yeah, what's that lady what made all those weapons and burned her house down, right?
Yes, yes, and this is her hammer.
Oh, well, what is it doing here?
That's a fantastic question, Miss Lyla.
Oh, and where is she? If that's what belonged to her.
Was she like really big? It's a big ass hammer. Like for forging, I couldn't imagine you needed like something much heavier than like a handheld thing, right? That's a giant fucking hammer.
Preacher Buchanan.
I mean,
Forgive my
Velantrios looks
swearing.
at Velantrios looks at what Buford?
Virgil.
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 Buford.
Velantrios looks at Virgil and he says, do you have a lot of experience with large hammers?
I see what you're doing, and I'm not going to fall into your trap.
Says
No trap,
now,
just
so.
an observation.
It's not. I in the back of
It's boys. So you said you know this. What was her name again?
Corrigan. I used to work for her. With her, under her. She was my master during my apprenticeship.
Velantrios asks, what could you tell us about her leading up to her disappearance?
She we should we should check and see, make sure that she's not here. We don't want her to be here. She could be hurt. She could be hurt, and I don't want her to be hurt. And
All right. It's okay, Mr. O. We'll I guess keep searching. I don't.
Assuming there's
Yeah.
anything left to search for.
If I could sneak away for a second, like go pretend to be investigating something outside of earshot or eyesight of anybody else, I'd like to cast Detect Thoughts.
All right.
And see if I can just scan. First priority is scan around, see if there's any undetected thoughts around, and then I'll probably peep into Chauncey's head a little bit if I don't find anything.
There are no undetected thoughts within range of the Detect Thoughts spell.
Cool.
oh no, you're reading my thoughts.
So what is on the surface level of Chauncey's mind at this moment?
Let me see here. I just surface thoughts. What is most on its mind? Chauncey's panicking. He's not in a good emotional state right now. I mean, he's just like fuck. In his internal dialogue is just fuck and like, why is she here? I thought we got away, and then it's just Delmas in his head. He's just like, God, Delmas. Oh fuck, shit, god damn it, fuck, gods, why? And it's just like that is what's going through his mind. Is like he's on guard.
Lila's, probably just rubbing his back, like, shame we never did get to enjoy each other's company.
God.
I'll come up to Chauncey and Lyla. I'm not gonna press deeper because if even if he succeeds or fails on the saving throw, he would know that I'm in his head.
Right.
So I will not press any farther.
March.
But I do get a sense, I think, that there's a lot about Corrigan that you're not saying, and you don't like her, and potentially something bad happened.
Yeah, those are pretty obvious from.
Cool.
He's like Chauncey's kind of doing the I'm slightly shutting down thing, and I'm kind of on autopilot
Gotcha.
and hypervigilance.
I don't know if now's the time, my lady, to be pushing your wares. But Mr. Og, I'm sensing some emotion, some tension here from you. It's clearly quite a history you have with this Corrigan woman, but you're here among friends, Chauncey. We appreciate everything you're doing. You've done this town a lot of good.
Oh, he kind of just. I mean, I don't know if you still have detect thoughts up, but I don't know.
Lasts for a minute.
Oh, okay. There's confusion, I guess. He's just like, because like Virgil has purposefully, or Chauncey doesn't realize that he's been doing, like,
Yeah.
Chauncey's barely reacted with Virgil since he moved to town, even though they grew up low key together.
Yeah.
And like, there's confusion, jealousy, maybe a little bit. I don't know. He's just like, what? I mean, and I guess the first thought is at least he's not going by my last name anymore. And he's just like, thanks, Virgil.
Of course.
Like, I really, yeah, I can't. Whew, I can't afford to, you know.
Nah, you've been a good egg ever since we were little. I remember.
Thanks. He's he just says a light thanks, and he's like, first surface thought, no, I have not.
Ooh, Jedediah. Virgil likes that.
Ooh.
Velantrios is just wondering how a pastor boy and a Dhampir like grow up well together.
Well, as fascinating as all this is, don't you suppose we should be figuring out how we's going to get this wreckage
Right.
this here mountain?
Oh,
It is good at least there's no wounded, only that poor UNT up front.
Grotesque corpse.
there's
There are
there's
still
no one
the-
else on the ship.
There is nobody else on the ship. However, there are the two very official looking iron boxes that are kind of sitting in the middle of the room that drew all your eyes when you entered, along with the hammer.
We might. I mean, we could. I'm gonna try to open one.
Sure. Give me,
All
I
right.
guess, a thieves' tools check,
Hey.
which I think would just be sleight of hand.
So Chauncey does have proficiency with thieves' tools,
Mm-hmm.
So you get to add that, yeah.
and like, yeah, he's just pulling it out of his bag. No, everything he pulls out of his bag has like there's some gilding or some embossing. It's Chauncey's a little extra, and there's just a little bit of a spark, a glitter to it as he starts trying to undo this, so that he's gonna cast guidance on himself because he made these magical tools.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that so plus proficiency bonus plus dex will be plus another 4 is 19.
Yeah, this pops open really easy. Inside this box is a mechanical owl, also in the same style as Corrigan's sentry birds. There is a manual next to it. It's basically just a bunch of papers that have been sewn together. It's very haphazard. It looks like this was written not very long ago. It has on the front, just scrawled on the front in Corrigan's handwriting, Project Bubo Alpha. And you leaf through it. It is a prototype. This is a miniature version, at least almost a sort of, she always used to sculpt and make these little tiny miniatures that, while they didn't work, they looked nice and she could show them off to people, of a bigger project. She was being tasked by the Blacksmith prison to make 2 of these automata, very large robotic owls that would constantly fly in formation around the Blacksmith prison, watching for escapees. They also had the ability to shoot lasers out of their eyes.
Oh.
There is mention of one of these being in the hold, as well as how to care for the brass, how to recharge it if it needs to be recharged, what magical energies work with it and don't work with it. However, it's very obvious there are 3 pages missing. 1, instructions on how to recall the automata. 2, instructions on how to reprogram the automata. And 3, instructions on how to completely shut the automata down. Those 3 pages have been ripped out. You also did not see a large owl in the hold, but you did see a large hole.
Oh, no.
So is the owl in the box?
There is a model of the owl in the box. It looks like it has gears and things in it, so it would be able to move, but it wouldn't be able to shoot lasers. Chauncey, you would know this. I would say with about 10 gold worth of parts and a day's worth of work, you could make this thing function essentially like an owl. You could have a little owl pet that is a construct, immune to psychic and poison damage and immune to the poisoned condition. And if it drops to 0 hit points, you'll have to roll a d10. That's how many gold pieces you would need to spend to repair it. And it would be at least a day's worth of work to repair it. So there is that.
Oh goodness. Chauncey's just leafing through and he's just gonna be like, it's the what did you say it was black what prison?
Blacksmith prison. It is here on Gold Rush. Blacksmith prison is here on Gold Rush.
Blacksmith prison commissioned her to make a pair of these owls, and this is her mock-up. It's her demo, her little test dummy, it's the way she works. She always make things in miniature first, like a sketch. Sketch before you do the finished project. Practice makes perfect.
Well, yes, but then where? What?
So,
Product.
Velantrios
Yeah.
is just poking at it.
I point towards the giant hole. Is that
That could have been it.
so? It's and it's like a lot bigger than this.
Yes, probably several times the size of this, based on her notes. While he's talking, Chauncey's also just gonna pop the lock on the other box.
Yeah, I'm going to say you can do that. Inside of this one is several is a large tube. It looks like a map tube. As well as 4 bundles of papers. Seems to be about 50 pages each. They are wanted. Actually, no, not 4. No, yeah, it is 4. 4 of these bundles of papers, about 50 of them each. They are printed wanted posters. And they are specifically labeled as in case of emergencies. There is also notes on. There's also kind of like a file on top of these wanted posters. That also has a handwritten Project Bubo Alpha on it.
Lyla
Can I
just like peering over his hands at what he's doing while he's looking. What you got there?
can I see who these wanted posters are of?
Yes. So the first is a human man with brown hair, and a bandana around his neck. You all would actually recognize him. He is Lawrence Clifford, otherwise known as the Red Bandana. He was a criminal that went around and robbed a bunch of banks. He was recently captured, like within the last 3 or 4 months, but has been in operation for about 5 years. He had, of course, infiltrated high society and used his status to avoid getting caught until essentially he had his mask pulled off by someone during a robbery and everyone recognized him and it was all done from there. The second is actually of the Yuan Ti, known as Reginald Rattlesnake Ophidian, who seemed to just be a nuisance and a gunslinger for hire that killed a few people. There is a picture of a Fire Ganassi woman that is labeled Corrigan Blake. And there is also a very familiar poster that has the face of someone from this group, labeled Virgil Buchannon.
Oh.
The red bandana
no.
has a reward of 1,000 gold pieces. Reginald Rattlesnake Ophidian has a reward offered of 1,000 gold pieces. Virgil Buchannon has a reward offered of 1,000 gold pieces, and Corrigan Blake has a reward of 7,000 gold pieces offered.
Velantrios grabs the paper with Virgil's face on it. Looks between the paper and Virgil, and he's like,
it is
well,
a little different. You would notice there is a scar that runs from the corner of the mouth to about an inch away from the earlobe. And the hair looks a little more scraggly, a little more not as up and fluffy and all of that stuff. It very clearly looks very different, but they are the same person, at least in concept.
okay, would I be able to do a perception check to see like would I need to do a perception check to know that they are the same person?
No.
My name is Virgil Buchanan.
Okay.
It is written right there on
so then
the wanted poster.
I would like my character to say to Virgil, well, Pastor. Sorry, well, Pastor Boy, you just instantly became that much more interesting.
Whatever did you do to get so popular, Preacher Buchanan?
Can I see what the charges are on the wanted poster?
What does it say that I did?
Just assault and avoiding paying debts.
And it's like, apparently our little pastor boy here is charged with assault and avoiding paying debts. What exactly are would those debts be?
Well, I have
a bit personal, don't you think?
Well, we are working with him. I'd say we should know who we're working with.
Well, I certainly don't. We are working with Preacher Buchanan. His financial state is going there. So,
While they're talking, Chauncey's just shoveling things into his bag. He's just gonna just quickly clock what Corrigan's charges are, though.
They're kind of vague, like racketeering and threat with a deadly weapon, and things that are very, like, they're obviously criminal, but they massively sidestep what actually went down.
right.
If you
And
still have detect thoughts up, you can just see Chauncey be like, they should have put mass murder on that. That's only if you can hear his thoughts still.
but I want to say to what's her name again? Lily or
Lyla?
Lyla.
To say to Lyla, you're just defending him because you want to taste his Holy Communion.
I am defending common decorum, and I suggest the next time you address me, you mind your manners, sir. And I'd like to make an intimidation check.
Hell yeah.
Oh, what check? Intimidation, you said?
Yes.
All right, yep, you can certainly make an intimidation check.
A 24.
Right.
24, jeez.
Jesus Christ.
Even
what do I
Virgil's
need
kind of
to
like,
do?
ugh. Like,
Oh.
What do I need to roll to
Yeah,
against that?
I'm gonna say you can choose how you respond. That was just to see how forceful she could make that, and it was very forceful. So whatever your character feels as though they would react.
Oh God, there's so many options. I guess I wouldn't really take her all that seriously, to be honest. I'm not like growing up in the
tiny,
woods.
but
Well, yeah, but like he didn't exactly grow up in like societal
behind closed doors, obviously.
Sorry?
Behind closed doors.
Oh, please. And okay, so all I do is hold up my hands like, okay, and then I hand over the Virgil.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yay! Virgil's wanted poster over to Lyla.
Thank you, sir.
Would you? There is, of course, the file that was sitting on top. Would Chauncey have read the file?
Sure. Yeah, Chauncey. He's gonna ignore the social interaction because that's not his strength. He's still like, I don't like this. I don't like this. I don't like Corrigan being close.
Yeah. So you read the file, and it describes finding an alternative power source to Corrigan's automata. It seems that Corrigan has been imprisoned. They have chosen a few prisoners from Blackensmith prison who have been in prison there for a while to essentially go on a secret mission to find a proposed power source known as a god flame. This can only be found in one place, the city of Ashenhold in the Shadowfell system, and it notes that there is a map in the tube as well as proposed routes to get there. But they were taking this ship to get to Ashenhold to get this alternative power source for her automata so that they wouldn't have to recharge these owls that are flying around.
Sir Chauncey, you seem rather distraught.
They were going to find an alternate power source for one of her automata. This is...
Oh, that does sound rather alarming.
She was a prisoner. They were all prisoners, and only one of them is dead here. You didn't find any other body? Did you find... He's just gonna, like, grab whoever's nearest. Did you find any other bodies? Or is it just the Yuan-Ti?
No. There were no other bodies.
It's just the UNT.
And the Yuan-Ti is probably the least threatening. Well, other than Virgil, what is going... Like...
So, like, Virgil's a very intelligent and crafty person, but it sort of seems like he's been made. It's sort of like there's dates on these documents. I couldn't be like, oh, this is from back when my youth and long ago and I'm reformed. But like this is like a recent prison statement that said Virgil Buchanan has been released for this mission.
Yeah, it seems in the file this particular Virgil Buchanan was arrested recently, within the last year, and has been chosen for
Cool.
this.
And I have been here
And
for like a bit over a year.
yes, so the dates do not line up.
No, no,
Also,
they don't.
in the document, it does mention that these aren't going to be distributed unless one of those prisoners escapes. If the prisoner escapes, that's when they distribute it, probably through Creator's Hollow, to all over Ponderosa.
So
So those were just for emergencies.
Virgil's criminal status is not known to the larger populace at
It
the
is
moment.
not known to the larger populace, at least not at the moment.
Right.
Just to us.
Lyla probably would just hand the wanted poster back to Preacher Buchanan. Say, Preacher Buchanan, I should think that private matters remain private, and I'd hope that you remember that in our future interchanges.
Madam Lyla, you are quickly becoming one of my closest friends up here in Grace Ridge. And you watch as the wanted poster incinerates in his hand.
It is a stack of 50, so it does kind of take a
Chauncey's
moment.
got 49 of them in one.
Firebolt. Like,
Velantrios, under his breath, just says, shepherds and their sheep.
And that's enough of all that out of you.
I would most certainly agree. I would kindly hope we could all keep this hush hush.
Wait, did you
And
firebolt it while I was holding it?
I'll try to take it from you. If you don't let me take it, I'm gonna firebolt it.
I feel like Chauncey's just like being very confused while he holds it, and then
I'm just like holding out my hand. Maybe you're like not noticing, and then I just spin a little firebolt on my finger and fling it at it.
just drops it when it catches flame, and he's like, "What?"
Now, if we can all agree to keep this little hush hush, I'm sure the church can do all three of you quite a few favors.
I don't want anything to do with the church. Nor do I want any favors.
Then I'll make sure to stay as far away from you, my friend.
That I think you can consider a favor.
What? But Virgil, you're boring.
I think he does like actually laugh in this moment. You know, that is largely true.
We used to make fun of you as kids. Like, what is going on?
Well, as far as you need to know, dear Chauncey, nothing is going on, I think.
Well, it sounds as if that matter is closed.
I would most certainly agree, Madam Lyla.
Now,
Well, there's what? Oh, okay. What?
there is further unpleasantness at hand.
There is. There's the matter of several possibly escaped convicts, including a madwoman.
And I just quickly, I just want to. My character would like to say, "Are you talking about the escaped convict or her?" And he points to Lyla.
A mad. Now, what you are insinuating is okay. So, let's see what we're gonna do, because he's pissing her off at this point. So, out for some magic. Let's see. We are going to. Nope. Hang on. We're scrolling.
So I'm assuming Chauncey is also taking the map tube as well.
Yeah.
We'll just
he's putting an impossible amount of things in his bag, but there's just always that slight iridescent like shimmer as whenever he opens it or whenever he pulls something out of it. This is just like,
let's say, like, as Velantrios is angering Madame Lyla more and more, anyone who's perceptive enough may notice she seems to get bigger, like slightly taller, her face maybe a little bit pointier. Just it's real slight, but that's we'll say that. And she just continues her like puffery, but she's decided she's done with, the foolish exchanges.
Maybe is there any? I don't know. Chauncey's just like, and he's just gonna, after shoving the map in his bag, he's just gonna be like, did we search the rest of the ship for bodies?
Yes, we have assured you,
Yes.
Chauncey, there are no other bodies here, just that grotesque Yuan-Ti corpse lying outside that we still have yet to dispose of.
Oh, we should probably do that.
I will also say the posters do say dead or alive.
Oh, we could turn him in for money.
Well, I was trying to be polite, but I think that does sound like a wise decision, Mr. Chauncey. Some good can come out of all of this.
Can Velantrios make a grab for the bag of holding?
Whose?
I think there's only one bag of holding.
There is only one bag of holding.
It's attached
and...
It's attached to Chauncey's hip, thrown over his shoulder.
That's why I'm like, excuse me.
Try.
I have nothing to
Contested dexterity.
Dexterity, where are you? Yeah.
Nothing special, just straight dexterity.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find it.
It's under the ability scores, not the
There we go.
skills.
Dexterity.
Do you want us to add our dex modifier to it?
Oh, hello. 20.
21.
garbs.
Oh, you see the two of them just like standing still. You get the sense something's going to happen, and then instantly, in like half a second, Velantrios lunges forward and Chauncey yanks the bag out of the way, and it's just like immovable object meets unstoppable force, just and then you freeze.
You seem to have a habit for getting yourself into other people's business there, friend.
And
nothing less from someone who was raised outside the light of common fire.
Velantrios, what did I do to you? Why?
I was just thinking that we could put the body in your bag, for easy transport.
I suggest that the next time you have an idea you would propose to share, that you use your words instead of your hands.
Well, when you live in the wild, your words don't have a lot of meaning as much as your actions do.
Well, then it should take some time to acclimate, but an effort must be made.
So while there's that brief moment of like fight or flight before the social exchange. I've rolled it over here. You just watched Lovey May, one of her little clockwork, perfectly articulated hands underneath her lace glove, just grabs the edge of the table and clenches until it's powder in her hand. She rolled a 24 for a strength athletics check.
Yeah, it's a very lovely mahogany desk. Very heavy, very fine crafting. This looks very expensive, and she just breaks it like it's a chocolate bar.
Lovey, it's fine. It's fine.
Now, are we all done tickling each other's balls, as it were?
I think I've had more than enough ball tickling for one night. Shall we take a look around for some giant murder owls?
Yes, I mean, Chauncey's just like, when did Virgil start talking about ball tickling? He was always so lame. He was the preacher's kid. What?
Velantrios, perhaps you could be useful in so much as maybe one of your wild friends could tell us where these giant contraptions may have gone?
One second. Are there any animals around?
Doesn't seem like it. At least not at the moment.
Yeah, and so I look at Lyla and I just tell her, honey, or no, not honey. My dear, there are no more animals than us here.
How unfortunate for us.
At this point, a shimmering, shining, metallic, little tiny bird lands on a piece of wood that is sticking out of the ship. You hear it twitter for a moment as it kind of turns around. You hear the whirring and clicking of its gears before it locks eyes with you all and freezes. It then leans its head back very mechanically, the feathers lifting up to reveal a chamber inside of which there is a tiny bell. And there's a little hammer that begins to strike the bell repeatedly. But this thing rings out like it's a church bell, like it's a huge cathedral bell.
Firebolt.
Make me an attack roll.
Hey.
All right, give me a firebolt. That is a 16 to hit.
That is enough, and it only has 1 hit point anyway. You blast this thing, it just bang explodes, almost in a comical way, like when a bird lands on an electrical wire in a cartoon, where it's just the legs with the smoke coming off of it, and it's suddenly silent. But you hear barking, very tinny mechanical barking, as down below you see 4 iron German shepherds begin sniffing around, moving around. And that is where we are going to end the very first episode of Red Dirt and Stardust. Join us next week as we figure out how they're going to get around these dog automata and what is going on with this brand new mystery that has come to Drake's Ridge. So I will see you all in a week, and I will see the rest of you in about 5 minutes.